My best friend Ivy kept pestering me to join her on a backpacking trip to Southeast Asia. When I expressed safety concerns, my boyfriend Luke dismissed my concerns as paranoia, waving off my worries. But upon arriving at the boutique hotel Ivy booked overseas, I discovered we'd been lured into a scam ring. After enduring weeks of torture, they strapped me to an operating table. My final moments were filled with Ivy's desperate pleading, "I've brought you so many victims already. Let me go." Then I blinked awake. Back to the moment when Ivy first suggested this cursed trip. "Nina, let's spend National Day exploring Southeast Asia. Perfect for working professionals like us, cheap and gorgeous." Ivy's voice pierced through my disorientation. Those same words that started my nightmare, making me break into cold sweats. Seeing her innocent-looking face across the coffee table confirmed it. I'd truly been reborn. "You look pale. Are you sick?" Ivy reached for my hand with feigned concern. I flinched violently. Phantom pain from countless beatings still fresh. "Just need to lie down," I stammered, locking myself in my bedroom to process this second chance. Last life. Ivy had planned our entire trip while Luke chimed in with "My coworker just went totally safe now." That co-worker connected us to the human traffickers posing as innkeepers. They'd kept us as playthings until harvesting our organs. The surgical lights still haunted my nightmares. My phone buzzed with Luke's message, "Babe, check these photos my coworker took. Perfect time to visit." Just like before. Their coordinated persuasion. I replied neutrally, "Nice shots. Though safety and budget. I'll cover you. Wish I could join." He immediately transferred $700. Last time I'd refused. This time I accepted instantly. 3 years of splitting bills evenly. Only to be betrayed? Let the bastard pay. "Thanks, babe. If I cancel, I'll return it. Keep it either way." Perfect. As our chat ended, Ivy knocked, feeling better. "Nina?" The seamless transition felt like being surveilled by two people at once. Suffocating and oppressive. I put on my headphones, ignoring her words, and lay comfortably on the bed savoring the security of my rebirth. Drifting into sleep, I woke to find Ivy gone. Checking my phone, I saw Lucas had tentatively messaged once, then stopped when I didn't reply. The world was eerily quiet. I ordered a lavish takeout, queued up my favorite show, and settled for dinner. Ivy's tablet lay on the dining table. When I picked it up, the screen lit up with a notification, "Luke, you here yet?" Peeking emoji. My hands froze. That emoji pairing was Luke's signature move. Suspicion flared. Abandoning my meal, I tried cracking her password. Ivy and I had been roommates since freshman year, becoming inseparable. After graduation, we'd naturally chosen to keep sharing an apartment. Everyone says best friends never approve of each other's boyfriends. Convinced they're unworthy, Ivy took this to extremes, hiding in her room whenever Luke came over. Our trio outings were rare enough to count on one hand. If they were actually involved, they'd hidden it masterfully. Her birthday and go-to number combinations failed. Just as I gave up, a wild idea struck me: Luke's birthday. The tablet's unlock chime sounded, and my heart turned to ash. That message was indeed from Luke. Panicking Ivy might notice her logged in WeChat. I quickly recorded their chat history with my phone. 10 minutes of scrolling and screen recording later, I reset the messages to unread. Moments after finishing, the app logged out automatically. Eating cold lo mein in my bedroom, I studied their conversations. They'd initially connected through work. Their companies were partners on a project. Neither had ever mentioned this to me. Clearly, this was premeditated. Having stared death in the face, boyfriend's infidelity and best friend's betrayal barely registered. But that didn't mean I'd let it slide. These two deserved each other, perfect for taking down together. Ivy returned glowing. Luke had coincidentally gone radio silent during her absence. Feigning curiosity, I asked, "You're practically sparkling. Hot date?" She giggled unconvincingly. "Just dinner with coworkers." I pressed harder. "I'd be pissed if you were hiding a boyfriend from me." "Never." She forced a laugh. We tell each other everything. Still. I shrugged. You've been single forever. Time to put yourself out there. Where? She fake pouted. No good options. Bingo. My senior's great and available. Let's double date this weekend. Her smile turned plastic. Sure. I trust your taste. My internal eye roll nearly gave me vertigo. Of course she trusted my taste, she'd stolen directly from it. Time to loop Luke in before their perfect day. Luke. Free this weekend? Let's grab dinner with my senior. He replied hours later, whatever. You pick. Bringing Ivy too. Maybe sparks will fly? Stop matchmaking. That ice queen's unbearable. Your senior would bail. I stared at my phone. Unbearable? Guess you prefer your challenges frosty. Huh? Don't talk about my best friend like that. I texted back, biting my tongue so hard it bled. Alright. I'll stop. Don't be mad. Ivy. By the way, have you thought about the trip? I'm just worried about peak season ticket availability. I scoffed. Bullshit. You just want to pawn me off faster. Noticing Ivy's meticulous makeup, I teased. Looking this gorgeous for your dinner with Ethan tonight? She blushed. Oh, stop it. Predictably, both Ivy and Luke stood me up that evening. Knowing Luke's possessive nature during their honeymoon phase, I'd anticipated this. True enough. Afternoon texts arrived. Ivy claimed overtime work while Luke cited sudden business travel. I immediately contacted Ethan, come over now. Ethan spent 2 hours fixing our AC. Feeling guilty. I treated him to premium takeout using Luke's money. We were mid-feast when Ivy returned. You're off work. Join us. I gestured at the spread. Her eyes darted between Ethan and me. Curiosity mingling with hope. This is Ethan Wilson, the guy from tonight. Ethan. Meet my roommate Ivy Carter. Shock and suppressed delight flashed across Ivy's face at seeing her canceled date materialized in our living room. As they exchanged pleasantries, I explained our AC broke. The landlord's unavailable and Luke's unreachable. Ethan was kind enough to help. I'd carefully portrayed Ethan as an eligible bachelor, his gym-toned physique and public security career, omitting his actual police affiliation, made perfect bait. Ivy's appraising glance confirmed the setup worked. After Ethan left, I texted Luke the good news with no response. Following protocol, I asked Ivy, so, thoughts on Ethan? Too soon to tell. She demurred, though her pleased expression betrayed her. But he seems nice. Great. I'll send his contact. I chirped, retreating to my room to access the hidden surveillance feed. The professional-grade cameras Ethan installed provided perfect coverage. Earlier, I'd confided in Ethan about Ivy and Luke's scheme to traffic me to Southeast Asia. While evidence remained insufficient for prosecution, he'd insisted on this security measure. We'd installed the system privately, with shared access for my protection. Within hours, Ivy emerged from her room red-eyed after intense texting. Suspicious. I rigged a recording device using a rope-tied backup phone, positioning it against her door. 30 minutes of muffled arguments later, I yanked the device back as her doorknob twisted. Late shower? I feigned innocence, catching her hurried escape to the bathroom with an armful of clothes. The tear-streaked face and choked yeah confirmed the confrontation I'd engineered, though the door muffled specifics. The recording captured desperate pleas and tearful justifications, almost theatrical in their dramatics. My fingers itched to review the footage, anticipating every delicious detail of their unraveling alliance. Not missing this golden opportunity, I decided to pour gasoline on the fire. Babe, aren't you here yet? You haven't replied to my texts, still on the plane? Hours of flight time? People would think he'd flown to outer space. Reluctantly, he finally responded. Landed. Sorry. Got swamped with work immediately. I considerately reminded him to rest before happily dozing off. Curiosity gnawed at me. How were these two squabbling lovebirds finding time to plot a vacation scam? That midnight, Ivy sneaked out. She returned exhausted next morning but radiated contentment. Their bond proved disturbingly resilient. Luke had folded to her charms already. Babe. Pulled an all-nighter just to say good morning. Suppressing disgust. I sent a cutesy emoji. If they wanted to flaunt their affair, I'd help them broadcast it louder. Babe. I've been thinking. Never traveled abroad. Since your colleague recommended Southeast Asia's affordability, maybe Ivy and I should go explore. Luke loved this idea, flooding our chat with heart emojis while promising afternoon cuddles. My bitter chuckle echoed. Let the games begin. Ivy vibrated with excitement when I announced our trip, immediately dragging me into itinerary planning. Mom's call interrupted us. Stepping away, I performed my Oscar-worthy act. What? Our neighborhood's getting demolished? 3 apartments and a storefront? Guess I'm a property heiress now. Retirement at 25? Ivy eavesdropped hungrily, oblivious to my terrible acting. Throughout our mall spree, I hummed show tunes and floated on air. Why's my Nina so cheerful today? Luke inquired, glancing around conspiratorially. I whispered, Mom says we're getting the property demolished. His jaw dropped as I skipped away. He caught up, clutching my shoulders. Seriously? Batting my lashes? I chirped. Cross my heart. Ivy heard Mom's call too. But Aunt Brooks leaked this from City Hall. His pupils dilated dollar signs when I listed the assets. 3 condos and prime retail space. Who wouldn't celebrate? He fake laughed. Mom says whoever marries me hits the jackpot. Luke playfully choked me. You're marrying me. Got it? Giggling, I ducked his gaze. No ring. No bride. His determined grin chilled me. Perfect, we shared the same vicious daydream. Our shopping spree ran late. Ivy's probing texts about sleepover plans went ignored until Luke's phone buzzed. Pathetic amateur. I kept him shopping till closing, returning with armloads of designer bags. Ivy's jealousy hit like fog when we entered. Look who's back. Too busy canoodling to text? Her sour smirk delighted me. I set down the shopping bags and approached with an ingratiating smile. What's wrong? Luke and I went shopping. He wanted me to stay out tonight, but I've got work tomorrow. Didn't want to exhaust myself. Our Nina is practically a little heiress now. Why bother working? I blushed and changed the subject, showing off today's purchases. She remained distracted throughout, her phone buzzing incessantly until she finally retreated toward the bedroom. Did you book our Southeast Asia trip yet, Ivy? I pressed. She froze. Not yet. But you said last week you found good deals? I wanted to check for cheaper flights, Ivy stammered, nodding sympathetically. I agreed. True. I feel bad about Luke spending so much too. These clothes and bags he bought me today must have cost a fortune. Her face darkened as she grabbed her devices and fled. With National Day a month away, I bet Luke wouldn't send me abroad yet. How could he part with his shiny new toy, the freshly minted only child and property heiress? By Monday, he'd already planned our weekend. Luke, it's my birthday this weekend. Can we have some alone time? Oh, but I already invited college friends and coworkers. We always celebrate together. His unusual request put me on alert. After his reluctant agreement, I intentionally invited more mutual acquaintances from our hometown. At the party, Luke knelt before our friends, ring in hand. I covered my mouth, shedding moved, disgusted tears. Watching Olivia's envious glare from the corner of my eye thrilled me. Post-dinner, the group clamored for karaoke. I readily agreed. Alcohol lowers inhibitions. After a few rounds, tipsy voices rose. Luke, taking Nina home for wedding talks this National Day? Let's travel together. Ethan enthused. Smiling, I interjected. Actually, Ivy and I planned a Southeast Asia trip. As Olivia began nodding, Luke shot her a warning glance. Ethan's right. Let's visit our parents instead. But Ivy's non-refundable bookings, I feigned concern. Don't worry. Olivia brightened unnaturally. I'll find other friends. You focus on meeting his family. Ethan chimed in. Perfect. We'll keep you company on the trip home. Olivia's seatmate perked up. Is Southeast Asia affordable now? $3 flights. Half-price lodgings. Ivy answered flatly. Suddenly animated. Luke joined their conversation, showing travel photos to Olivia. I monitored them anxiously, though the blaring music drowned their words. Across the room, Ivy silently drowned herself in alcohol, gaze glued to Luke's movements. My college roommate Ethan nudged me as Luke exited. Ivy immediately followed. Something's off between those two, Ethan warned. I laughed airily. They're just both going to the restroom. Ethan rolled her eyes. Genius at work. Clueless in love. Let's investigate. Playing along, I followed her down the hallway. The second lounge door stood ajar, no singing, but faint rustling behind it. Understanding flashed through me as I casually drifted closer. Sure enough, there they were, a man and woman locked in a passionate embrace. Their lips fused together. Chin glanced over and immediately pulled me backward, thinking we'd intruded on a private moment. Just then, the couple finally separated, their voices carrying through the air. Ivy, Luke murmured. I can't bear to be apart from you. Let me keep seeing you secretly. Chen froze mid-retreat, whipping around to stare at me with wide eyes. Playing my part. I gasped dramatically, tears welling up as I cried. How could you? Inside the room? Luke jolted at my voice. He shoved Ivy aside and rushed toward me. Nina. Let me explain. He pleaded. I covered my ears and shook my head violently, slapping away his reaching hands. When he tried to embrace me, I turned and fled to our private karaoke room, sobbing loudly while gathering my things. Our friends paused their singing in confusion as Luke barged in, attempting to stop my exit. Chen stepped between us. Furious. You and Ivy crossed the line. Luke. Today was supposed to be Nina's birthday. As the crowd buzzed with confusion, Chen recounted the betrayal. The room erupted in outrage, everyone cursing the cheating scumbag while I pretended to hyperventilate with tears. Through the chaos, Chen somehow got me home safely. Notably, Ivy never reappeared. The next morning, I silently moved out of our shared apartment, my heartbroken exit strategy. Luke and Ivy's affair exploded across our alumni network overnight. No one could contain the scandal of a fiancé sleeping with his future wife's best friend. I formally cut ties with Ivy while Luke lost his ticket to financial security, a fiancé who could have fast-tracked his career. Though temporarily safe, Luke's relentless texts and workplace appearances warned me not to underestimate human greed. I initially ignored him until Olivia posted travel plans that made my blood run cold. Remembering Ethan's advice about balancing safety with action, I decided to re-engage Luke. Meanwhile, Ivy now lived alone in our old apartment where Luke frequently stayed over, their domestic bliss captured clearly on the security cameras I'd secretly kept active. The footage of their cozy nights contrasted sickeningly with Luke's pleading messages. I messaged Olivia, urging her to reconsider traveling to Southeast Asia. Stick to domestic trips, I insisted, only for her to snap that I was just bitter about the friendship breakup. When she mentioned traveling with 3 other girls, I immediately screenshotted our conversation for Ethan. Swallowing my disgust, I texted Luke, we need to talk. The cameras showed him bolting upright from Ivy's couch. Within 30 minutes, he stood outside my new apartment clutching roses. I emerged with downcast eyes, letting silent tears shimmer under the streetlights. Nina. He breathed, offering the flowers. I'll cut all ties with Ivy. Let's get married next week during the national holiday like we planned. I nodded faintly as he kissed my forehead, his arms tightening around me. Over his shoulder, my expression hardened. This charade would end soon, but for now, the cheater needed to believe his lies still worked. At first, Lucas Taylor wanted to come up to my apartment to spend more time together. But I quickly claimed my current roommate wasn't comfortable with having boyfriends over. He affectionately tapped my nose. All right. I'll let you off tonight. I forced a smile, cheeks burning with disgust. After watching Luke leave, I rushed home to scrub every inch of my body clean. Instead of returning to his place, Luke went straight to Ivy's apartment to pack his belongings. "Where are you going?" Ivy demanded. "Nina took me back. We're visiting her hometown during National Day break to discuss wedding plans." When Ivy desperately clung to him, Luke viciously pried her hands off. "Know your place, Ivy. You'll always be the other woman." Ivy collapsed to the floor sobbing about her brother's safety. Luke loomed over her menacingly. "I'll have those idiots release your brother after you lure those women to Thailand. But try crossing me, and I'll make your entire family beg for death." Watching the surveillance footage later, my blood boiled. How could I have dated this monster for 3 years? The screen suddenly showed Ivy standing inches from the camera. Tears wiped clean. "See your demon fiancé clearly, Nina. Enjoy your hellish future." Ethan immediately arranged a meeting. The Ivy who showed up wore none of her usual sweet smiles. "When did you find the cameras?" I asked. "The day you moved out." She sneered. "Did watching us torture you? Would I want that filth?" I countered. Ivy's mask cracked. "You always float above it all. What makes you so special?" "I don't chase what isn't mine," I replied calmly. Ethan cut through the tension. "Why expose the cameras now?" "To save my brother. Luke's contacts can free him from northern Myanmar." "You think we'd trust him?" Ethan pressed. Ivy laughed bitterly. "You've been investigating him anyway. Why else would Ethan install surveillance?" The pieces were falling into place, we just needed to avoid becoming Luke's next casualties. I froze. "You know Ethan is a cop? We used real names from the start. So you never really hid it from me." "After 2 years in this business, it's no surprise I've made connections." Ivy Carter sighed, her voice tinged with resignation. "Luke has been working with overseas trafficking rings this whole time. The price for his help rescuing my brother was my complete obedience. He made me lure girls abroad regularly, then wash my hands of what happened next." Ethan Wilson frowned. "How many have you tricked so far?" "None." A strange mix of relief and bitterness colored Ivy's laugh. "Nina figured it out before I could start. She was supposed to be my first target. Since Luke was already bored with her anyway. And she's the person I despise most, well, she seemed like the obvious choice. The woman before me felt like a stranger. 5 years of shared dorm rooms. Splitting ramen packets during finals week. Her bringing me heating pads during cramps while I covered her rent after that shady internship fell through. All those memories now seemed like some elaborate hallucination. Yet here she sat, casually declaring me her mortal enemy. Thank God I'd already mourned this friendship in my previous life. Nothing she said could touch me now. Ethan cut through the tension. "You want to flip sides? Help us take down Luke and his network?" "Yes. If you'll save my brother. Send me his details. I'll consult with headquarters." He created a 3-person group chat, warning us both to stay vigilant around Luke. Our investigation confirmed Ivy's brother had vanished near the Yunnan border. But pinpointing which overseas park he'd been taken to proved impossible. As National Day approached, Ivy escorted several girls to the airport per Luke's instructions. Among them was a travel blogger named Zoe Sue, who'd promised free trips and professional photo shoots abroad. When Zoe collected everyone's passports, the group eagerly complied, until Ivy discovered hers was missing. Zoe checked her diamond-encrusted watch. No time to retrieve it now. Ivy turned to the girls with practiced remorse. "You go ahead. I'll catch the next flight." A particularly eager blonde immediately latched onto Zoe's arm. "We're not waiting around for your mess," she sneered, steering their new benefactor toward security. Ivy watched them disappear, her apologetic smile hardening into something cold and satisfied. She returned home to find Luke sprawled on her couch. He crooked a finger, and she swayed toward him like smoke, their bodies tangling in practiced rhythm. "Took you long enough," he murmured against her neck. "Made arrangements for your brother. When's he coming home?" Luke shoved her away. "You think this happens overnight? 50 grand minimum for good performers like him." 50,000? Where would I? His hand closed around her jaw. Bring me more girls. Earn it. The threat melted into rough kisses. His hands roaming until she gasped. Not here. Who's watching? He laughed, flipping her onto the coffee table. I quickly minimized the surveillance feed. Ethan Wilson, standing nearby, cleared his throat twice. Work, all part of the job. Fine then. Even the audio couldn't be muted. I marveled at Ivy's composure, maintaining her act despite knowing police surveillance. After their passionate encounter, Ivy went to wash up while Luke lit a cigarette and checked his phone. His frown deepened with each screen refresh. When Ivy emerged from the bathroom, Luke hurled a glass tumbler at her forehead. Blood trickled down as she clutched the wound, screaming, "Luke! Have you lost your mind?" He lunged forward, choking her against the wall. "Where's the confirmation message? Our team picked up those women at the airport but never got the second signal at the rendezvous point. Was this your doing?" Gasping for air, Ivy choked out denials. "I don't know what." Her nails scraped desperately at his forearm until he released her. "Did you even vet those women properly?" Luke demanded, eyes wild. All from neglected families," Ivy rasped, tears streaming as she massaged her bruised neck. "Then why did our drivers lose contact after pickup?" Luke's trembling fingers dialed a number. "Chow. Status on the shipment?" The disconnected tone made him pale. He bolted for the door only to be swarmed by SWAT teams from both floors. "You treacherous whore!" Luke snarled while being restrained. "If I go down, your brother's corpse will cushion my fall." "My brother's already dead." Ivy screamed hysterically, collapsing to the floor as she raged against Luke's crimes until officers escorted her away. Watching this unfold from the crime scene perimeter, I felt grim satisfaction. My murderer from the previous life had finally been caught. During the subsequent prison visit arranged by Ethan, Luke's hollow eyes met mine. "When did you figure us out?" "Divine intervention." I smirked. The universe took pity on my naivety. "Will you help reduce my sentence if I cooperate?" He bargained. "I'll relay your request," I said coldly, arms crossed. "Though Ethan's partiality toward you might help." He sneered. "Save your breath." I cut him off. "Worry about yourself." His final plea echoed as I left. "My mother treated you well. Will you look after her?" I walked away without answering. In the precinct corridor, Ivy brushed past me with a triumphant smirk. "Disappointed your revenge plot failed?" I flicked a voice recorder before her eyes. "The game's not over yet." Her cocky expression shattered into panic. "What do you know?" She whispered hoarsely. "Why didn't Olivia go on the trip with you?" The truth is right here. Hearing Olivia's name, her pupils dilated abruptly, and she lunged at me with a scream. "Nina! I'll kill you." The two officers beside her reacted swiftly, restraining her firmly. I shouted the truth I knew. "Olivia accidentally discovered your secret and wanted to expose it. So you killed her." This voice recorder and Luke's testimony are irrefutable evidence. Ivy. Everyone must take responsibility for their past mistakes. This holds true in this life, just as it did in the previous one. The moment Ivy mentioned her brother's death, I realized she'd also been reborn. Yet instead of redeeming herself with this second chance, she chose to continue her wicked ways. Now they'll face legal consequences. After handing over all evidence and statements to the police, I exhaled deeply and stepped into the sunlight outside the station. Ethan hurried out after me, falling into step beside me. "Need a ride home?" "Thanks. But you've got enough on your plate." "I can manage." The road ahead stretched bright with promise, fresh beginnings, warmth, and hope unfolding like the vibrant scenery before me. My future, reclaimed.